He is a Chinese artist that was born in Beijing in 1957. His father, I King, was a poet, and when he was young, his father had a lot of problems with the leader Mao Zedong of that time, so they were transferred to many labor camps and exiled of Peking. 16 years later, he studied cinematography and was part of a group of artists that promoted the creation of plastic art. Was until 1981 when he went to New York to study art. And this was important for his career as an artist because he got to know the new tendencies and movements in the art history, pop art, minimalism, and conceptual art. He worked with a lot of architects and participated on the design of some installations, and little by little his fame grew. When he was back to China, he worked on promoting the defense of human rights and his ideas against communism. And because of this, he got arrested for a year. All of his work themes are based on taking personal and political risk to express the importance of having a free society, a society that reflects the real culture and life of the people, and their freedom of expression. As I mentioned before, this exhibition is called Restablecer Memorias, and its main topic of work is on the related experiences that China and Mexico have had and how the people overcome these traumatic events that affect our culture and the future. The first work that I'm going to talk about is the one that can be appreciated when you enter to the exhibition. It is called Wang Family Ancestral Hall, which is a combination of photographs of the original destination of the hall and the architectonical construction of it. It was constructed during 2011 when the communist regime of China maintained a Weiwei in conditional liberty. This relates to the story of the Wang family, and this was during 1950, where the heritage was taken from them and abandoned. As we can see, the construction is made of wood, and the rose and green decorations painted with industrial paint were reconstructed by Ai Weiwei to add some color and to give a different meaning to the artwork. He always worked with ready-mades and make interventions of historical objects to materialize the culture and how the oppression transformed it. The second work really impressed me was a documental on the Ayotzinapa case. It is a reflection movie on how this case affects the families, the Mexican society, and human rights. When he came to Mexico in 2016, he was looking for a connection of both cultures, and this was a big opportunity to work on. He made a vigorous investigation with the families and some experts in the case. It is a set of different TVs that shows the interviews made to the families in which you can hear from earphones. I think this is a good way to create a connection with the audience because hearing them closely makes you feel their pain, their loss, and interact more with the message of the whole exhibition. It also has books by different authors, a timeline of the events that it goes from 2014 to 2017, and finally with the portraits of the 43, made by Legos. It can be perceived a moment of silence and respect for those students and to remember our responsibility with future and dealing with human crisis, which is the main objective of Ai Weiwei. As we can observe in some of the videos, the exhibition is divided in two, Mexico and China. For Mexico is the case of Ayotzinapa, and for China are some elements that make emphasis in the culture with traditional architecture or important elements of it, for example, porcelain. This work is called Chicken Cup and consists of 25 copies of a cup of chicken soup. It is a falsification of the real cup that has a price of $37 million. As we mentioned before, is the action of intervention that defines this artist, taking a historical or cultural object, modifying it, and giving it another meaning. It was a great experience to see how an artist from a different country engage with a different culture and how he relates social problems and take the risk to create extravagant works that confront political, social, and personal problems. I really enjoyed the visit and the learnings that I obtained from it.